Hello everyone, Chrisa here, and today is our second video on zooming in. We're focusing on ochos, as you might have expected, since our walks were covered in the previous video. But of course, there is a lot of connection, and we're gonna try to really reveal that connection between the two, because I really think it will make a huge difference on how you approach and how you dance the ochos. So here we're looking at them as a change of direction and not so much as a separate step or and we're not really dissecting into a step and a turn, but we're looking into how those two come together and when is the right moment to introduce the pivot. And this is very important for followers and for leaders, because leaders, you need to know in your bodies when that pivot needs to be led. So this is our focus for today, and it is all explained through how the body wants to move. So focus on things that you feel that make you a little bit uncomfortable under this big theme. There's gonna be a lot of opportunity in the video to do that, and if you if you're courageous and you try different things and you find something that was created a light bulb moment for you, write to me about it. So I want to hear it, because I'm working on these things with you. So as you'll hear me say in the video, there are things that I focus on because I think they are important, and I think I'm not 100% there, and so I share them with you, and hopefully all these things will help you as well. But if there is something through these processes that was like, oh my God, this is I found something. I actually think that I found something, and you want to share it with someone, or you want to bounce ideas off someone, then please put it in a video or just in writing and send it over to me. I will love to read about it, love to hear about it, love to see you execute it. So off we go. So we're going to use this exercise that we used in our previous video to warm up the body and prepare it for all this twisting and bending. And I want you to really relax the arms and use this exercise to actually relax the rest of the body. Find movement in the spine, in the shoulders, in the torso, in the hips. So some of these might be easier for you or a little bit tougher. If you did this last week, you already know where you're keeping tension. So try to focus on those parts of the body and see if it's possible to release them a little bit more. So it will take some time, and maybe you need to spend more time in these spots than I'm doing here. So I'm just showing you how you can go from top to bottom, creating the movement here from the knees or further down from the feet and the ankles, and then how you can bring it into your whole body. And maybe you're like me, you can see, for example, at the top of the torso, I'm really trying to get my focus there to get some more movement going. And it's not so much the twist, but more the side bending. I'm, a little bit deficient in that way, in that spot. So I'm going to take my mind there and make that my focus, because that's a very important component in our ochos as well. So try to do the same in a similar way, and slowly relax it and come back to center. Movement into our walk, getting ready for our ochos. I chose this spot because I'm coming towards you and you can see again how the feet are working, and you can see all these movements here. And since hopefully this is your second week doing this, I want you to dial up the exaggeration a little bit. So go for it, exaggerate as much as you can. Try to find freedom in the hip, in the body. Try to find the twist and the side bend and the wave in the hips. So, and of course, how the feet help you shift the weight. It is important to be able to identify where each and every one of us is less efficient, because unfortunately or unfortunately, what you can see here is my my truth of this exercise. Of course, this is how we step, but keep in mind that I carry my own background and my own injuries, so some of these things might or might not be what is of your concern. So as you're going through, try to notice, for example, since we're at foot level, are you hitting your heel? Are you really digging your heel in the floor? If so, is it possible for you to tone that down, for you to make it a little bit softer? Maybe that's not your concern. Maybe your concern is how you're pressing forward from the back, from the toes at the back. And as you'll see here, you'll notice that, let's see it, let's wait for it. As I'm putting the toes down, all the toes, including the baby toe, are going to reach for the floor right here. And this is a much stronger place to push from and to receive the weight. So maybe you're staying more over your big toe, or maybe you're falling on the outside of your baby toe. So these are things you might need to focus on. Similarly, in the upper body, maybe you have a nice big twist like I do, and you don't need to focus on that thing that much, but you might need to focus a little bit more on the side bend like I'm doing here, like a little curve towards the left. These things exist, and different people will be more efficient, will have a more efficient path for one thing compared to another, and they will need to focus on something different. So personally, I need to focus on this side bend, and that's why I'm dialing it up right here. If you feel that you're missing that part, go for it, dial it up, see what happens. If you feel that you're missing more of a twist, dial the twist up, and so on and so forth. So make this practice yours. These movements exist in there, you just need to find them. And for some of us, some movements will be obvious. Oh yes, I'm doing that in our regular walks, in our dance. And some will need to focus on them. So even when you're, just putting your heels on and just doing this nice, comfortable, hopefully walk, try to see if this now dialed down expression of all these internal movements that we exaggerated on while practicing our exercises right before. Try to see if you can still find them in your body. They're going to be tiny, baby, internal, but try to see if you can still feel them. Working on your walks. So this will be our introduction to Ochos. We talked about this moment of opportunity last time as well. And here it is. Our hips are slightly open. We're reaching over the front leg. Our body is twisting. And if I let that moment pass, I can continue going forward. But if I take advantage of this alignment, that you will see right here with a little bit of a twist and a little bit of a side bend, give myself a little bit more and pivot. So that is the moment we want to take advantage of. We want to capture that moment, and you'll be able to see it in my top as I'm as I'm doing this, backing the camera. So this moment where you see the slight side bend in my body and a little bit of a twist, I bypass it. I can keep going forward, or I take advantage of it. Let's see, right here, give myself a little bit more pivots. One more time. You're walking forward. Notice the moment of opportunity right here. It's coming. Let me see. Here. If you bypass it, you go back to square and you're ready to move forward again. If you don't, let's see it again. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. There. Give yourself a little bit more and pivot. So one more time. You start to walk, trying to time it, trying to find that moment, which is not yet, but here. A little bit more of a lead. Okay, and ocho time. So what is happening here is, if I continue forward, it will be your walking exercise, the one we just worked on, only on heels. But if I notice this moment, I can take advantage of it and do a pivot. So I want you to start off square, similarly to just walking forward. Try to capture this moment that you have the opportunity to change your direction. So that's the idea here. Here is that opportune moment where you can either keep going forward where you were just going, or lead yourself into a pivot. And it is vital to find the right moment for it, for leaders and for followers, because followers, this is quite obvious, is your Ocho technique. Leaders, you're doing Ochos in your dance, but also this is the time to lead the pivot. So you will know when is the right time for your follower to effortlessly follow forward Ochos. So even now that we're just doing forward Ochos, try to notice that moment where you have the opportunity to change your direction. And you can always fall back to the first exercise where we're going square and changing our direction with a pivot. So two things to focus on here. One is timing, and the other is the movement of the upper body, twisting and side bending. And I'm just gonna take advantage of this to zoom into a little bit more for forward ochos, but it's the same in back ochos. So you can actually do this exercise a couple times. I just want to show you that moment, and I want you to really focus on understanding the connection between the upper and the lower body. So if we zoom in here, see how the arm and the leg that are free are communicating. It's not that I'm gonna stay put until my body is 100% there. There is a little bit of a give. There is communication between the upper and the lower. You can see it here as the body turns to find the partner. The free leg is getting ready, and it comes from here. You can see how the body communicates in this swinging motion, how the swinging motion in the beginning matches the swinging motion that we're doing here. So let's see. Upper body, you see the twist, and you see how the two parts, they are communicating with each other in a crisscross motion. And here you see also the twist and the side bend. Notice, see the drapes in my top there. So let's say it again, because this is very important. As we step, we twist, we start to twist, but it's not just a twist. See, one shoulder, my right shoulder in this case, is higher than the left shoulder. So there is a twist and a side bend. And this is what I want you to try to find in this swinging motion, in your steps, and in your pivots. So all of these tied together, and if you need to choose one exercise from this video to do, this would be the right one, because this swinging motion feeds into your walks, into your ochos, into your whole dance. It's very important. It captures a lot of things in it. So if you're having trouble with this, you can do two things. One is dial up, really power up what you're doing, exaggerate a lot, really swing and external rotate when you swing forward, internal rotate when you swing back, really slap that wall. So go 150%. And then you dial it down and you go very, very, very small, tiny, and very discreet, as if you don't want to make any sound. You want to be very, very quiet. And it is interesting that when you do that and you play with that intensity, then things start to click. For some reason, our mind really focuses on what we actually wanted to focus and doesn't get distracted from other things that are less important. So try that. I'm just showing you the feet. Here is your regular forward ocho. The only thing that I want you to notice here is that nothing is exactly in a straight line. My toes are not facing straight. My knee that I'm standing on is not exactly straight, and everything changes as I move. That's also very important to notice. Nothing stays. And so we're here for back ochos. And back ochos work exactly in the same way. So we're going to start exactly with the same exercise. And you start exploring that moment, trying to find that moment. When is the right time that I need to change my direction? And just like we did before, you're going to use that arm really. If you want to exaggerate it, go for it and exaggerate it. Or again, you can make it very tiny and very small and very careful in how you reach that wall. And so play with the exaggeration levels. And it is true that back ochos as well as back walks can give us a little bit more trouble with balance. So of course, feel free to go a little bit slower, but also work more with these little or bigger, if you're exaggerating, movements. This challenge in the balance will help you understand where it is that you need to pay attention to. So maybe you need to twist the body more. Maybe you need to side bend more. Maybe you need to pay attention to your feet because you're pushing off only the big toe, or you're absorbing the weight more from the big toe and the rest of the toes stay off the floor for too long. Or maybe you're breaking the line of the ankle. You know, it will give you information if you don't let it scare you or frustrate you. So go slower. Again, focus on these movements, focus on the timing, but take advantage of this practice fully and make it your own. So if there are moments, if there are things that you need to focus on more, we've been talking about this side bending, like you can see me do here. You'll notice if you find it, your shoulders will be free, your arms will be free, and you'll feel that you'll be able to embrace your partner more. If that's not happening, and you feel locked in the shoulders or across the torso, maybe this is the movement to focus more on, and not so much the twisting. So just pay attention to what your body is telling you and shift your focus accordingly to make this practice your own.